When Mahesh arrives at his new assignment as the village postmaster, he finds an office entirely cut off from the rest of the world. His assigned assistant, an older man named Raju, flatly refuses to stay past sundown, offering to quit rather than spend a single night in the building. The locals are equally unnerved. When Mahesh visits a nearby tea stall the next morning and casually mentions he slept at the post office, the villagers freeze. The tea seller explains that every previous postmaster has either fled after their first night or refused to stay there at all. Mahesh quickly learns why. During his first night alone, the silence of the forest is shattered by a bicycle bell outside his window. This is followed by the heavy, rhythmic breathing of an unseen man and the aggressive barking of a dog pack circling the walls of the post office. The physical isolation of the office masks a more targeted hostility. The environment itself actively terrorizes anyone trying to establish authority there, immediately forcing Mahesh into a psychological survival test. For a local man named Vipul, the danger begins away from the post office. He steps out of his home to find an anonymous letter dropped in the dirt. The note specifically targets his financial desperation, offering him 5,000 rupees for a midnight meeting at the village banyan tree. Lured by the cash, Vipul walks into the dark woods. Along the path, he hears the same phantom bicycle bell that tormented Mahesh. The eerie sound escalates through the trees until a spectral figure on a bicycle slowly emerges from the thick fog, flanked by a pack of aggressive, supernatural dogs that quickly tear Vipul to pieces. The next morning, villagers discover his mangled body beneath the banyan tree. Among the crowd is the Mukhya, the village leader, whose reaction goes far beyond standard shock. He looks entirely paralyzed by a very specific, deeply personal fear. The specific targeting of a desperate man with a handwritten lure points to a calculated assassination plot rather than a random supernatural haunting. The following night, the violence strikes the Mukhya's own family. His daughter and son-in-law discover another handwritten letter on their doorstep. This one offers no money. Instead, it threatens to expose a severe hidden crime unless they meet the sender at the exact same banyan tree. Desperate to keep their secret buried, the couple heads into the forest. They are intercepted by the exact same phantom cyclist that killed Vipul, resulting in identical grisly deaths under the cover of darkness. Mahesh hears their screams from the post office and sprints into the woods to intervene. He arrives too late, tripping over a rock in the dark and knocking himself out. When he wakes up at the crime scene the next morning, he finds the ghostly blackmail letter left near the bodies. Mahesh reads the threat and realizes the entity is working its way through a specific list of conspirators. He stops acting like a terrified bystander and starts operating as an investigator, trying to piece the connections together. Mahesh confronts the Mukhya, demanding answers. The village leader offers a convenient explanation. The ghost is Aryaman, a former postmaster who supposedly died in a tragic wild animal attack and whose restless spirit is now haunting the woods. Mahesh compares the Mukhya's story to the letter he recovered from the crime scene. The note spoke of sins and punishments, details that contradict the theory of a random animal attack. Seeking the full story, Mahesh stands his ground at the post office at midnight until the ghost peacefully delivers a final letter. Aryaman quietly funneled his salary into a fund, preparing to buy a house for his widowed mother. But the Mukhya faked the sale, brought in Vipul and Baldev to murder Aryaman, and stole his funds, splitting the money 3 ways. Aryaman represents the consequence of unchecked village greed. His violence is a direct response to the systemic theft and murder that robbed him of his life's work. Armed with the truth, Mahesh lays a trap. He visits the Mukhya and lies, claiming he has hired a powerful tantric to permanently banish Aryaman's ghost that very night at the post office. The Mukhya arrives at the post office, eager to see the spirit destroyed. Feeling invincible, he openly brags to Mahesh about beating Aryaman to death, threatening to kill the new postmaster as well if he ever speaks a word of it. That's exactly what Mahesh needed. The local police officer steps out from the shadows of the post office, having quietly recorded the Mukhya's entire unprompted confession. Before the officer can place him in handcuffs, Aryaman's ghost manifests one last time. the vengeful spirit bypasses the law, violently hoisting the terrified Mukia high into the night sky before dropping him to his death. Following the Mukia's death, the recorded confession leads police to the forged documents and the stolen cash hidden in his estate. With the paper trail of the fraud finally exposed, the court formally transfers the title of the house to Aryaman's mother, fulfilling the contract her son died to complete. Mahesh remains the village postmaster, and on the nights when he hears the sharp ring of a bicycle bell outside his window, he no longer locks the door in fear. He knows it's simply a spirit at peace, saying thank you.